Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. We ended the last video on a bit of a downer, to be honest. I wasn't really feeling it. The book didn't inspire me. I had posted my last video and nobody watched it, which, what did you think was going to happen when you started a YouTube channel and you have no subscribers? But it's fine. We're back on it. We're feeling motivated. We have a new phone. I'm enjoying the new phone. I also have figured out that you can flip the selfie camera. This was a revelation to me. So you'll be able to read the book titles now. It's good. Things are going well. So this week is the Halloween vlog. It's the spooky vlog. We're reading the spooky books that we bought 2 videos ago and just gonna get cozy. I am gonna try carving a pumpkin for the first time in my life. We're going to try some baking, possibly vegan, possibly not. We'll see how that turns out. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. We're going to read, we're going to get cozy, we're going to do some spooky stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so time to talk about the books that we're going to read in this video. I have 2. One that I intend to finish, the other one that I intend to start. And hopefully we'll get through both of them, but probably not, let's be realistic. But the first one is The Ghostwood by C.J. Cook. C.J. Cook is a lecturer of creative writing at Glasgow University. I haven't read any of her other books, but this was kind of heavily advertised in Waterstones when I was in there as, you know how they do local flavour. So this is about a young girl in 1965. She lives in Dundee. She becomes pregnant, even though she swears she hasn't had sex. And then she's sent to a place called Hall, where unwed mothers are sent to give birth. There she meets a strange mother and her son who live on the grounds, and all the secrets of the house come out. So this is supposed to be creepy and gothic, an ancient wood, a long-held mystery. I read the first few pages of this when I was on the subway back from Waterstones, and it really set things up for me, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. The second book that I have is All Hallows by Christopher Golden. Again, I've never read anything by Christopher Golden. I've never heard of anything by Christopher Golden. I actually only picked this up because I thought I was getting buy one, get one half price. This was on a table with other things that had buy one, get one half price stickers. So I picked it up to be my half price, and it turned out I paid full price for both of them, but it's fine. We never say no to new books. So this is set on Halloween night in the 80s, I think 1984 it said. In a town in Massachusetts, families are having a bunch of drama going on. People are going to lose the house. There's alcoholism and infidelity. But while all this is going on and everyone's distracted, there's some children wandering around in vintage costumes and faded makeup. I think the implication is that they're ghosts of some kind, and they are asking the local children to keep them safe from something that they call the Cunning Man. Interested to try that. I am not really a big horror person. I am a massive wimp. I don't really watch horror, I don't really read horror, but I did read another horror book earlier this year and found that I was actually quite a bit braver than I thought. So we're going to give them both a go. This is the one that we want to read. This is the main book for this video. I would like to read it, otherwise I will probably never get round to it if I don't do it at Halloween. So those are the books that we're going to be reading this video. So honestly, vlogging looks so much easier than it actually is. What you didn't see in that last clip was the first tray of chickpeas that I tipped all over the floor when I tried to put them in the oven and film it with one hand, because that's what happens when you try to do things one-handed that you should do with two hands. And I'm surprised I didn't burn myself, because that would have been very typical. But dinner is in the oven. I'm having some barbecue and cauliflower chickpea wraps. And then we're gonna get the fake fireplace on YouTube. We're gonna get cozy, we're gonna light a candle, and we're gonna start the Ghostwoods. So it's not the most aesthetically pleasing tea in the world, but they taste pretty good. So I'm going to eat this, watch something, and then it's time to read. Okay, so I'm in bed, it's the end of the day, and just wanted to do a little reading update. I have read the first 30 pages of the Ghostwoods, and I'm liking it so far. It's really atmospheric. You can definitely feel the gothic influence. So the main character is a young woman who is not married. She's pregnant but unmarried in 1965 in Scotland, and so she is not wanting to go into one of these institutional mother and baby homes, and so she is going to live in a place called Lichen Hall, which is a friend of a friend. The family that live there, her parents vaguely know them. They take in pregnant girls to look after them while they give birth and such. But the house is 16th century, it's very old, it's very remote. So on the way up there, she hears some rumours about the family, that their son died but then was seen alive afterwards. And when she gets there, she's told that the east wing is shut off. And when she asks why, she's shown, and it's basically that part of the house is essentially rotting. It's been invaded by mushrooms and fungus and mold and damp, and it's really good the way she is. It's quite disgusting, you know, the way she describes it. So I'm already intrigued to see where it goes. We also have this sort of other perspective that started with the prologue with this other girl. The main character is called Peril, but we see a girl, Mabel, who is the one with the phantom pregnancy, and the one who talks about having ghosts in her knees and in her gums and in her fingers that make her do things. So yeah, it's quite interesting. It set things up for me. It's atmospheric, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. Okay, so it is the next day. I have finished work. My cat is shouting at me, and I'm supposed to be going to the gym. Emphasis on the supposed to be, because I am not going to the gym. I am staying home to edit my next video. I need to start doing that, and then I have reading that I want to do, and the first episode of the new season of Heaven Official's Blessing released yesterday. So we're very excited to watch that. So yeah, not going to the gym, editing, reading, exciting evening planned. So let's do that. Hungry? Is you hungry? Really? Okay, food coming. So normally I like to catch up on all the different anime that I'm watching on a Sunday when all the episodes for the week have released, but I am far too excited for this, so we're gonna watch it now. Can't wait! Oh my god, that was so good. I might need to go and watch the whole first season again because 20 minutes a week is not enough. I love this show so much. Oh my god, so good. It's so good. Okay, as much as I want to go and watch the whole first season over again, reading. I'm gonna read. Activating lounge mode. Hello, and welcome to Thursday evening. I have been reading. I have read about 200 pages of The Ghost Woods. I'm about halfway through now, and I have to say I'm really enjoying it. There's a kind of understated beauty and sadness to it. So we have Pearl and Mabel who come to Lichen Hall to give birth 6 years apart, and it swaps back and forth between their perspectives. We have Mr. and Mrs. Whitlock, who are the kind of older couple who own the house, and they have a grandson, Wolfric. All three of them are very strange and have like episodes, and in Pearl's POV, the later one, the present, even though it's 1965, he has dementia, so he has kind of a reason for being a bit strange, whereas the other ones are just very strange. The mushrooms are heavily featured. They are inside the house, outside the house, part of the house's design, they're carved onto it, they're part of her jewellery, they're everywhere. So obviously very important, very thematic to the story. I have a bit of an idea about what's going on, but I'm not going to say in case I'm right, because then that would be giving it away. But there's a figure in the woods, the ghost woods, and last night, it's not incredibly scary, but I did have a moment in bed last night where I just had a bit of a shudder when you read something that's just a bit creepy. So yeah, really, really enjoying it so far. I think at this point I am going to pivot and start, oh no, that's the back, and start reading a bit of All Hallows, just because I would like to at least start this book in this video. I'm not going to finish both of them. The priority is to finish The Ghost Woods in this video, but I do want to start it, so that is what I'm going to be reading tonight. Maybe a little bit of The Ghost Woods as well. And probably we will check in again on Saturday. I'm going to a cowboy ceilidh tomorrow night. Don't know what that is. Don't know what it involves. But we're up for it. We're going to find out. So I will see you again soon. Hello, it's now Saturday. Cowboy ceilidh didn't happen in the end, but that did mean that I got, let me get it in the shot, lots of reading done yesterday and last night and this morning. So I am only about 80 pages from the end of both books, so I don't think there's much point in really giving you much of an update just now. I think we'll just finish them together and then I'll give you my thoughts once they're done. But for now, it's been a long day already. But for now, we are going to do some pumpkin carving. I am going to attempt some vegan Halloween cookies. and then we're going to do some reading and finish the books. So let's go. So this is my pumpkin, my jack-o'-lantern. We'll put some candles in it later when it gets dark. But I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've ever carved a pumpkin in my life, so I'm quite proud of that. I think I did pretty well. Thumbs up. So it is time to try the cookies. Quite excited. Not bad. Got my Jack Skeleton mug. Yeah, those are good. I think they probably could have done with a bit longer in the oven. Maybe some sort of egg replacement. But tasty. I'll eat them. Hello. Yes, hello. You want to be in the video too? So, it is time to finish both of our books. We're going to start with All Hallows and then the Ghostwoods. Let's finish them together. We're done. Is my favourite part of the video. It's the bit where we actually get to talk about the books. I love this bit. This is my favourite bit. So, Saturday night, I finished reading All Hallows. I made food, immediately fell asleep. Literally, as soon as I finished chewing, I fell asleep. So I finished The Ghostwoods on Sunday. It's now Monday evening. I've finished work and I'm here to give you my thoughts on my Halloween reads. I actually really enjoyed both of these. I think The Ghostwoods is probably my favourite of the two, but overall, yeah, really enjoyed both of them. They actually explore some similar kinds of themes as well. Obviously they're both horror, but one's gothic, one's more 80s, not slasher, but inspired by, as well as being a bit supernatural. So they both explore the idea of sort of liminal spaces and transition. So you have in All Hallows, you have the fact that it's Halloween, so you're transitioning from October to November. You also have most of the kids, the main characters, are adolescents, especially a lot of the main ones are in their last year of high school, so they're transitioning from sort of childhood to adulthood with the prospect of going to college coming up. There's also the change in that people's marriages are ending, people are going to have to be leaving the neighbourhood due to bankruptcy, all these different things are happening. And then also the fact that autumn is a season of transition, a season of change between summer and winter. And in The Ghostwoods you have the transition between life and death, especially the roles that fungus and mushrooms play in renewal when something dies and making that material available for use again. And then also very centrally is the idea of pregnancy as a transitional phase between your life before and then being a mother, but also the impact that it has on your body as well. The other theme that they both share is that actually the horror of the supernatural and whatever we can think up in our head, it doesn't really compare to the horror of the real world and real people. Things like bigotry, violence, sexual violence, bankruptcy, adultery, bullying, these all feature in one book or the other. So there's also some trigger warnings here for both of these, some quite uncomfortable topics. There's actually quite a good quote from All Hallows that I really liked. "Nothing in these woods could be more dreadful, more terrifying than the selfish cruelty of ordinary people." I read that and I thought, yes, that spoke to me. So All Hallows, I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought this was going to be a meh, like just not really bothered, but I tore through it. So it has a bit of a, well, I've never watched Stranger Things, don't tell anyone. I've never watched Stranger Things, but it has what I assume is a Stranger Things vibe going on. You know, it's about kids and teenagers in the 80s, there's a monster. Same thing, right? It's a setting that you would recognise from any sort of 70s or 80s Halloween kind of slasher movie, that small town America on Halloween night. But actually here it's a lot more diverse than you would probably find in a lot of those movies. You have the children of different immigrant groups, you have a bit of LGBTQ representation. So it plays on this nostalgia for a past age, but actually holds it up to the light a bit and shows that, you know, what you're nostalgic for. It has a scene where one of the characters talks about how they in the 80s are now in this age where things aren't like they used to be. And so that sort of sheds a bit of a light on us sitting here going like, oh, things were better in the past. So what you have is quite an interesting setup where you have all these different families in the same cul-de-sac on the same street. They're all having their various human dramas, and during this, the sort of supernatural starts to creep in, and the horror and the ghosts and the murder and all the Halloween stuff. Honestly, I thought that the supernatural and the horror elements could have been scarier. They could have been gorier. Or maybe I'm just like super brave these days. Maybe I'm like an actual superhero. But it didn't scare me that much. I liked it, I enjoyed it, I read it really quickly, the plot kept me going, but it didn't have me looking over my shoulder or jumping at noises or anything. The writing wasn't the best thing about it, but it has just enough of a twist to the sentences to keep you reading and keep you entertained and to stop you getting bored with what is quite a straightforward style in general, I would say. But that's not a bad thing because it means that you can just tear through it, as I did. So I would give this probably 3.5 stars. Definitely enjoyed it. It wasn't amazing, it didn't absolutely blow me away, but it was definitely a lot better than I expected, and yeah, enjoyed it. So then we have The Ghostwoods, which this was a sleeper. Like, this actually really blew me away. I enjoyed this so much. It's really touching, it's really heartbreaking, it's really creepy at moments. It's a lot more understated, the horror, because it's a gothic novel. I think a lot more of the horror does stem from the human interactions and just how awful people can be. But at the same time, there were some genuine moments that made me whoa, and one in particular that had me checking under my bed. I was right about what was going on, so I won't say what it was, although the book does, I feel like it heavily hints at it. I think you're kind of supposed to know what's coming. I'm not saying I'm some great book detective that I figured it out, because I think it's quite obvious, but that didn't change my enjoyment of it. And I also didn't see all of the details come in, so I knew generally where it was going, but how it was going to get there and how it was all going to end was still a bit of a surprise. It will definitely stay with me after reading it. There were some moments I was just like, oh, that's just heartbreaking. And it wasn't the moments with any supernatural stuff, it was just the way that people treat each other. It's just terrible. It's also a really stark look at pregnancy, which I find refreshing because I feel like it's always romanticised as this glowing, wonderful, beautiful time in a woman's life. And I'm not saying that it's not that, but it's also kind of gross in a lot of ways, and it takes a really heavy toll on a woman's body, and women can have very conflicting emotions about it, even if it is a pregnancy that they wanted. If it's not, and this book's set in a time where women's reproductive rights were not as wide as they are now. If it's a pregnancy that you didn't want, then that makes it even more complicated. So this is set in a time where unwed mothers, it was just not a thing. You just didn't have a child out of wedlock and raise it as a single mother, and if you did, you were very heavily stigmatised, which is why so many mothers went into these institutional mother and baby homes where there's just so many horror stories about these. But they did it in order to avoid that social stigma, and then the baby would be adopted by married heterosexual couples. So it really explores the feelings of these two young women who have these pregnancies that they didn't plan, that they didn't want, but also looking at the emotions that they have, the conflicting emotions, and then their emotions towards their baby when they're babies when they're actually born. There were a couple of things that niggled at me. I felt she used a lot of Americanisms that were a bit jarring for me. Maybe not a lot, but two things in particular I noticed was the use of goddamn, which that's an Americanism. I only started saying that because I binge watched so much It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't feel like young women in 1965 Scotland would be saying goddamn. Maybe I'm wrong. The other one was assholes. It would be arseholes. I don't know, maybe I'm just nitpicking, but those kind of niggled at me. They took me out of it. I was like, no, that's not the right vernacular to be using for the time and the place. The other thing was that probably the creepiest moment in the book for me, the one that had me going, oh, what was that, and checking under my bed, that wasn't really explained. And maybe that's the point. Not everything in the world can be explained with the tools and the knowledge that we have. It's part of the human condition. I don't know, I think for me, I wanted to know what that was. I thought it was going to feed more into the end, so maybe it's just my own expectation that I'd set for myself not being met, but that kind of niggled at me as well. But otherwise, I really loved this, and if I see her other books, I will definitely pick them up because she has quite a few others. I would give this a strong 4, maybe even a 4.5. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. And that's the end of the video. If you're here, thank you so much. I truly appreciate that you made it this far. If you enjoyed the video, then please feel free to like it and to subscribe. I have so many more ideas for books that I want to read and videos that I want to make, and I'm I'm just loving getting back into reading again. I've been reading more the past couple of years, but really getting back into it. Just, there's so many books that I want to read, and I want to talk about them, I want to have opinions, and I want to say things about them, and I'm so excited. I'm really enjoying it. So if you want to stick around and hear my opinions, then please subscribe. That being said, if you're here at the end, leave me a book emoji, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!